Shalom, this is your brother Ma'lak, and this is Hebrew Israelite Kryptonite Part 7. So I want to start this video off by giving all praises to Yahawah in his son's name, Yahawah. And this video is Yahawah's laws on land and also his laws on leadership. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. And for a lot of our family that's new to the truth, when we say Yahawah, we're translating it back to the Hebrew. So Yahawah is Lord, then Yahawah is his son, which is a savior who we used to translate and pronounce as Jesus. So Yahawah is the son. All right, so let's get right into it. These laws are extremely important. These are detailed actions on how to be righteous, how to make right choices and judgments. All right, so let's go right into Leviticus chapter 25, verse 23. Leviticus 25, verse 23. And I suggest you to use a King James version, preferably 1611 with the Apocrypha. And also you may want to purchase some type of concordance, a translator that's going to translate the English back into the Hebrew so you can know the correct definition. So let's get into it. So it's a sin. Sin is basically transgression of the law, it's breaking the law. So when we break out of righteousness, that's what sin is. And these laws are detailed actions of righteousness. So Leviticus 25, verse 23. Also, the land shall not be sold to be cut off from the family, for the land is mine, and ye be but strangers and sojourners with me. All right, so our land is extremely important. The land was given to us by the Father. So that land is supposed to stick and be passed down through generations. So you're supposed to pass it down to your son, and then down and down, and it's supposed to keep going. Land is extremely important. With land, you should never go hungry. You should always have a place to live, because it's not just having land. Also, we're supposed to feed ourselves on our land. So if you have land and you have dirt, even if you have concrete, they have big flower pots. You go to your local hardware store or home store, and you can start planting, learn how to grow your vegetables and your fruit. And start working that soil. But land is extremely important. So it's a sin to sell our land. All right. We cannot sell our land. Now we're in a situation where as though our land was taken away from us. By who? By Satan. If you look in history, look up Christopher Columbus, look up Caesar Rodney. They came and they seen that Yahawah had left us or turned his back on us because we was doing ruthless things. We was killing our people unrighteously. We was eating bad things. And I'm going to get into that when we get into the dietary law. We was hating ourselves. So Yahawah turned his back on us, or should I say we turned our back on him. And that's when the Europeans seen that, and they came and they conquered us. They took our land. But Yahawah is our power, and the way we get back to Yahawah is keeping the laws, keeping the commandments. Now, keeping the commandments by itself means nothing if we deny and disrespect Yahawah. All right? So it's hand in hand. All right, but don't think that we can just believe and say we got the blood of Jesus all over us, but we can live how we want to live. Nah, we're not going to make it, and our life will suffer. It will suffer, and it will suffer in the next life as well. So, of course, with any prophet, especially Yahawah, we have to respect and we have to honor him. And he is worthy of praise. All right. So right now, a lot of us don't own land. A lot of us believe we own a land, but we borrow money from the bank and got a mortgage, and they say it's our land. But if we stop paying that mortgage, the third month, you stop paying, the foreclosure going to come, and they're going to take that land. Whenever you buy land, you're buying the land and everything built upon it. So you're buying a house if it's a house on the land as well. All right. So our land is going to be restored. We're going to get it back. All right. And also for the new viewers, Hebrew Israelite is not a religion. Hebrew Israelite is not a religion. It's an ethnicity. It's who you are based on the curses in Deuteronomy, which is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, indigenous, that's scattered all across this plane, what we call Earth. All right. So that's one of the commandments. So it's sin if you have land and you're selling it. You're selling it away. That land is important, extremely important. You're not supposed to be going to the supermarket to buy groceries. We're supposed to be feeding ourselves. All right. So let's go down to verse 24. Therefore, in all the land of your possession, ye shall grant a redemption of the land. So say if so basically we cannot sell our land, but we can rent it out. Say if one of our brothers or sisters want to come on our side, of the plan of the earth or wherever we're at, and want to stay at our residence, or say if they want to grow some crops on our land, we're allowed to rent out land to them. All right, that's not a sin to rent it out, but we can't sell it. Let's go to verse 25. All right. If thy brother be impoverished and sell his possession, then his redeemer shall come, even his near kinsman, and buy out that which his brother sold. And if he have no redeemer, but hath gotten and found to buy it out, then shall he count the years of his sale and restore the overplus to the man to whom he sold it. So shall he return his possession. All right. So it's family. This is love. So if one of our family members got in a messed up situation, whereas though he or she had to sell their land, we got to step up. That's our family. And we got to purchase that land and find out what's going on. Why did he or she sell that land? We have to buy it back and give it back to our brother or sister. So land is extremely important. You got to look out for each other. Hold on to your land. Without land, where are you going to sleep? Where are you going to stay? You have to depend on somebody else. You got to rent out, their land. All right. And again, a lot of us, this is when we had our land. This is before our land was taken away from us. And our land was not taken away righteously. Because on a land, if it was taken away righteously, you will have people that's keeping Yahawah's commandments. You will have people keeping Yahawah's his laws on the land. Where we're living at right now, the laws aren't being kept. The people who conquered the land, it's a different God, that they serve. They say they serve the same God in the Bible, but they don't. Actions speak louder than words. If we say that we love Yahawah Shai, who they mistakenly call Jesus, it would show. They would be keeping these commandments. They'll be loving their brothers. But they wouldn't be depending on big corporation to feed them. All right. So we have to look out for each other, at family. We have to look out for family. And we just have to stick together. And land is very important. Get land and keep land. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 2 and 5. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 2 and 5. All right, so we cannot worship other gods on our land, on our property. So here we go. If there be found among you in any of thy cities which the Lord thy God giveth thee, man or woman, that hath wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God, in transgressing his covenant, and have gone and served other gods, and worship them as the sun or the moon, or any of the hosts of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told unto thee, and thou hast heard it, then shalt thou inquire diligently, and if it be true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought in Israel, then shalt thou bring forth that man or that woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates, whether it be man or woman, and shalt stone them with stones till they die. All right, so it's a serious offense. So inside of our city, that Yahawah, our power, gave thee, doesn't matter, man or woman. He says that if anyone is found in our gates serving different gods, that is the death penalty. Death penalty. All right. So right now in the land that we're living in, we have we call them the American laws. But what Yahawah is saying is that we are to live under his laws, his governing laws. So we cannot worship other powers. I haven't translated this right here, gods, but most likely is Allahim. And what that basically means is powers. So when you see those statues, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Caesar Rodney, all those gods, that's the other nation's forefathers, and that's their gods. And that's the reason why they hang statues up on that land. So it's wicked and it's a sin for anyone to worship other gods on the land. And also it says, as the sun or the moon or the hosts of heaven. So this don't mean hate the sun. This don't mean hate the moon. All right. Sometimes whenever you bring up the sun and the moon, people get into, oh, that's that Egyptology type stuff. The sun and the moon is just not to be worshipped. All right. The sun and the moon is supposed to help us. The sun and the moon does a job. All right. Without that sun, try to be quarantined in the house for a long period of time and don't get any sun. What's going to happen? You're probably going to get sick and your immune system is going to suffer because that sun activates the vitamins. All right. I believe it's vitamin, I don't know if it's D or C, but it's a vitamin that help boost your immune system. And also the moon. All right. The moon does, the moon doesn't get talked about as much as the sun, but the moon is extremely important also, with animals, even with your body. All right. And the sun and the moon is important, for your crops. All right. So, but worshiping them, that's a whole different story. You can't worship. You only can worship the Most High. All right. Yahawah. All right. And also, or any of the hosts of heaven. So heaven is up above. That's another level up that NASA doesn't speak about. All right. Or also the sun. You can say the god Horus. You can't worship any of them. We can't worship any of them. That's not our God. All right. So Yahawah never commanded us to worship any of them. And that's what that's saying right here. And also too, if you have a family member come into your house, you got to be careful who you let enter your house or stay the night, because you never know what they can be doing in your room. They can be making an altar or a tabernacle, worshiping the ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Like, any righteous ancestor that we have, we definitely respect them. But as far as worshiping them, no, we don't do that. You know, so be careful who you let in your house, even if it's family. And how can you tell if somebody's doing witchcraft in your house? You got to pay attention. Look at moods. You got to check out your environment. Check out your kids. You know, see how their attitudes are, their moods. You know, because you're dealing with spirits. Spirits in our mind goes hand in hand. Spirits affect the mind on how we think. So you got to check out how people feel, how people are acting. That's how you can tell if something's going on. If drama all of a sudden occurs in your house when you invited somebody in, most likely they're doing some type of divination. All right. And that family member probably think that they're right, you know, to call out to different spirits and different things like that. All right. So you can't have that. Now, if there be found someone who's worshiping another god or power in your home, what this is saying is that with Yahawah's government, right now we're in American government, but we belong to Yahawah. So in a case, if it was somebody worshiping a different god on your land, you would bring them into the judges, which was our brothers. We also had some sisters who were judges as well. And they would check that case out. And if that person was guilty, then that person would get the death penalty. Why is that? Is because other gods and other powers don't want you to succeed. All right? Because we're different than them. Yahawah wants us to be successful. So yeah. So we have that. And let's go to Deuteronomy. Let me see, is it 15? Let's stay in this chapter. Let's go down to verse 15. Actually, let's do 14 and 15. All right, so now this goes on to talk about the leaders. So, when thou shalt come unto the land which Yahawah your power giveth thee, and shall possess it and dwell therein, if thou say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me, then thou shalt make him king over thee, whom Yahawah thy power shall choose. From among thy brethren shalt thou make a king over thee. Thou shalt not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. So your brother is your people. Your brother is your people. Now, just because somebody is Hebrew Israelite doesn't make them your brother or your sister. All right? Genetically, they're your brother and they're your sister. And we tell by the seed line of your fathers. All right. But you can't always tell by looking. You can't. You can kind of guess by looking at somebody. But the way you can tell if somebody is your brother or your sister is if they do the will of the Father. If they have the spirit, if they have the mind to able to keep these commandments, which is loving yourself, loving your people, most of all, loving the Most High. And love is an action. All right. And this is what all these commandments are. Is to bring you back into righteousness. That's all what the commandments are, is to bring you back into righteousness. So now we go to voting. This is the issue. When we vote, when we choose it. So we can say the word vote. When we're choosing somebody to be leader over us, that is not our brother. So anybody that does not keep Yahawah's laws or the commandments, it's a sin and is wickedness to choose them to be the leader over you. All right? They cannot be a stranger. That's what a stranger is. You know, a stranger is somebody who does not keep Yahawah's laws and commandments. A stranger is somebody who is not your people. All right. So it is wicked and is a sin to choose somebody or vote somebody over you and your people that is not a child of the Most High God. And a child of the Most High God is someone who keeps these commandments. All right. So if they are not a Hebrew Israelite and you choose them to lead over you, you're in trouble. You're definitely in trouble. And by you choosing somebody who does not love Yahawah or love your people over you, what you're saying is that you love what they've been doing to you all these years. You love it. You love suffering. You love being oppressed. You love being the last. That's what you're doing when you vote. Your vote is very important. It's extremely important. Extremely important, because what you're saying is that Yahawah, this is who I want over me. I want this person over me. All right. And where Yahawah says, as you wish. So then we say, okay, what happened with President Barack Obama? He was one of us. Was he one of us? He looked like one of us, but he wasn't one of us. If he was one of us, then he would save us. He would save us from the oppression, the suffering. He would save our people. He would go against the system if he was one of us. But unfortunately, this man was not our brother. If he was our brother, he would love us. He would keep our commandments. He would have saved us. So you can't go off of skin color. You have to go off of actions. Skin color is sort of an indication, but you can't. Somebody can have lack of no melanin and still be a Hebrew Israelite. A child of the Most High God. Somebody can be dark brown, but still may not be a child of the Most High God. But the way you can tell is by actions. Now, I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not saying don't choose. I'm saying don't vote a leader over you that is not a child of the Most High God. All right. So instead of voting, well, I'm going to use the word choosing. Choose a righteous leader, and it starts here. Choose Yahawah. All right. Choose Yahawah Shai. It starts here. And then after that, it starts in the household. Choose a leader, for your daughters. When is that time? When they're of age of marriage. Choose a leader for her. That's going to guide her. Teach her these laws. Keep her at peace. If you can, keep her happy. And uplift her. And have children and multiply. And teach the children. And then neighborhood. You got your house set. Now your neighborhood. Lead and guide your neighborhood into righteousness. All right. That's how you choose a leader. Is more than just using the word vote. Just choose. Start in your household. Start with yourself, your household, then your neighborhood, and after your neighborhood, your city. Do righteousness in your city. Anyone who's wicked in your neighborhood, in your city, in your house, get them out. Get them out. It's not about just being brown. Now, okay, we understand that part. We understand genetically. Now we have to take a step forward. Now we have to pay attention to our actions so that we can choose rightful leaders in our communities. The next thing you know, you run in a state righteously, then a country, and then the world is yours. All right. So we have that. So it is wicked and it's a sin, which is breaking the commandments, to vote for someone that is not a child of the Most High God. All right. So we have that. Now let's go to verse 16. Verse 16. In any wise, he shall not prepare him many horses, nor bring the people again to Egypt, for to increase the numbers of horses. Seeing Yahawah have said unto you, ye shall henceforth go no more again that way. So this is what happens. You know, you cannot let, if you do choose a righteous man to be leader over you, over your communities, over your state, your country, they cannot lead you back into Egypt, which means servitude, slavery. You're not supposed to serve the other nations. The other nations are supposed to serve you. All right. And when I say serve you, you're supposed to be the boss. You're supposed to be a righteous boss, and they're supposed to work and build up your community and your people. All right. So if you have somebody in your neighborhood that's trying to lead us back, you know, saying, oh, vote for this person, vote for that person, and not your people, get them out. Tell them to go. All right. Because they're trying to lead you, they're trying to keep you into the system of oppression. Okay. So we cannot have a leader that's going to put us back or keep us down the bottom. And that's a sin. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 1. Okay, and this is one that we went over before. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox nor his sheep go astray, and withdraw thyself from them, but shall bring them again unto thy brother. All right, so if you see your people's whatever puppy, dog, or his car, or anything, his livestock, go away from him, bring him back. Don't act like you didn't see it. Bring it back to him. All right, so let's go to Deuteronomy 22, verse 8. When thou buildest a house, thou shalt make a battlement on thy roof, that thou lay not blood upon thy house, if any man fall thence. So basically, this is talking about your house. It's saying in your house, you can't be lazy. This is talking about the roof. If somebody stands on your roof, you got to put something up so that they don't fall over and kill themselves, because that blood is going to be on you. And what that means is that it's going to be your fault that person died. So if you have a house, you got a step, is missing or something, and grandma walks down the steps and grandma falls, and grandma breaks her neck, you're in trouble. You're gonna get a punishment for grandma falling down the steps because you was lazy and you didn't fix that. Life is important and special. All right, these bodies was given to us. I mean, this is like high biotechnology that we're working with right here. And if you're lazy and you allow somebody to fall, one of your people to fall and hurt themselves in your house, that's a problem. You got to fix that. All right. So then people say, oh, well, what if it's a Sabbath? I can't fix it right now. It's a Sabbath. No. On a Sabbath, you need to fix that, because if you don't, somebody's going to fall and kill themselves. All right. And with that's basically, then you say, well, the Sabbath, we're not supposed to work. I believe it was Yahawah. He was saying that the Sabbath was for the man, not man for the Sabbath. So if you see that there is a danger, it's not going to be a danger every Sabbath. Something ain't right if it's a danger every Sabbath. But if it's a danger and it's going to cause somebody to have health issues, if you have a mouse problem, you live in a city, you know what I'm saying, you got mouse problems, seal up the house. You know what I'm saying? Because the mice can carry different disease, and then they die from the odors, and you got to breathe that stuff in. So that stuff, your house is important. You know, you dwell inside that house. You know, don't put blood upon your house. Yeah, that goes for anything, chemicals. If you got chemicals laid down and you got kids, get that, you know, babies, get that stuff put away. You know, clean your house, clean the floors, you know, become a cleaner. Clean your walls, disinfect it. All right. So if Yahawah feels that way, you know, about the house, keep your house right and clean. Same thing with your bodies, you know. Be careful what you're putting into your body. And we're going to get into that also when we get into the dietary law. But before I get into the dietary laws, we're going to have to go over the laws of sacrifice. Because in order to understand our dietary, what we should be eating, which is of the ground, we got to learn. We got to learn about the sacrifices before we get into killing animals. And also animals' lives are precious as well. And we're going to go over that. And this is going to shock a lot of people about what we should be eating. And when we do right, we get right. And the reason why I'm putting these laws out is because once we know these laws, our chances increase that we're going to actually do them and apply them to our lives. So I definitely advise everybody to, if you got a book, write them down. And once you do these laws, it's going to put you on a higher intellectual level. You're going to become very intelligent, extremely intelligent, and you're going to maneuver differently. And you're going to be, should I say, favored? You're going to have a lot of things go your way because your way is going to be righteous. So I don't like to use the word luck, but you're going to have a lot of luck. I don't want to use the word luck. So you're going to have a lot of favor and a lot of blessings that's going to come to you as you keep these commandments. Because all these commandments is basically, like I said, loving the Most High God, loving yourself, and loving your people. Yahawah loves it when you love your people. Your people are people who are righteous, who lives for Yahawah and do these laws. All right, and I think that's it. I think that's all I have, and this is about property. Property is very important, okay? And it's wicked and it's sensible. You know, Dr. King, his I Have a Dream speech, he had I Have a Dream speech, and he was saying he wanted to integrate us into the American system. But I believe 3 years later is actually a video he put out saying that he regrets the I Have a Dream speech. It was like integrating us into a burning building. All right. And after he had that statement, they killed him. You know, he was killed. Then we go on Nick Cannon. You know, everybody was talking about Nick Cannon. You know, you can't bite the hand that feeds you. You know, if you're getting fed by them, don't think that you can go against them and continue to be fed by them. All right. Sometimes you got to give it up. You know, if you acquire some things that's from Satan, don't think that you're going to keep them. You know, if you go against Satan, if you're going to get a heart and a mind, a righteous heart and a righteous mind, and want to help your people, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to keep that. All right. And you know what? You go against Satan, you might even lose your life. So if you open your mouth and go up against Satan, you better have the Most High on your side. How do you do that? By keeping all these laws at the best of your ability. All right. That's what's going to save you. That's what's going to save you. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Look at 1995. You know, he came out with that album called History. And he did the same thing. He had to apologize to them. All right. He had to write an apology to the Jewish people. You know, it's like once you acquire wealth from them, Don't think that you're going to keep that wealth once you go up against them. All right. They pulled Michael Jackson's album from the stores. All right, because he was about to expose history on who we really are, who our people is. And he's been afraid ever since. I'm not saying that Michael Jackson was righteous, not at all. I'm just saying that if you're going to speak the truth, you got to be prepared, and you got to be living for Yahawah. You can't have one leg on one side of the fence and the other leg on the other side. All right, because you can get killed. You can get killed and assassinated for it. All right. That's the thing. Our people are waking up. Our people are waking up left and right, but they're in situations where as though they're living heaven. They have their heaven. They have their heaven and they don't want to give it up. So if that means apologizing for the truth, then that's what they do. But either you're living for the Most High or you're not. But right now we're waking up. We're becoming Christ-like. We're becoming like Yahawah Shai. We're awakening. So instead of one Yahawah Shai, you're starting to see a lot of Yahawah Shais pop up. A lot of saviors who's saving their families, who's saving their communities. That's what's happening, and that's what the world system is terrified. They are afraid of you because you have woken up, and the chains are now unlocked from your ankles and your hands. All right, and now you're starting to look up. So that's that. This was a short video compared to the other ones, but these are the laws, and I'm just a messenger. I'm putting out these laws and the commandments to our people. So until then, and once again, it's not just that you're not voting for unrighteous people. You're not voting, but now you're voting or choosing righteous people determined by their actions to govern your lives. All right. Just like I said, it starts in the household. Choose wisely. Choose your husbands wisely. All right. Father, protect your sons and your daughters. Husbands, protect your wives. You are the Yahawah Shai of that family. All right. So then we go again with all praises to Yahawah in the name of his son, Yahawah Shai. This is your brother Ma'lak, and this is Hebrew Israelite Kryptonite Part 7.